Hey everybody, welcome back to Trizzy Trades. With my videos, I want you to walk with me on my journey through this trading thing. After being an unsuccessful trader for many years, I unlocked the secret to being a profitable trader. I didn't need any new patterns or trends or anything. All I needed was time. Over the last 2 years, I realized that most of my trades would have been successful had I given those trades enough time. In fact, some of my biggest losers would have turned out to be my biggest winners if I gave them more time. I've tried day trading and even swing trading before, but I have been unsuccessful at both. However, when I gave my trades more time, meaning when I started choosing options expiration dates, further out, I started to see profit consistently. Therefore, I consider myself a long-term options trader. And by long-term, I mean any option trade that I do has an expiration date that can be anywhere from 6 months away to 18 months away. This is the type of trading I find works for me. I can set my trade and just go about my business. Also, I've developed a higher risk tolerance, so I can be down in my trade for months and not be worried. In this video, I'm going to show you a trade that I'm giving the rest of the year to do what I want it to do. And if I'm wrong and I lose on this trade, it's part of the game. I'm willing to deal with the ups and downs that this trade might give me throughout the year until I get to my target. If this sounds like something you're interested in, please continue watching. Before we get started, let me show you my disclaimer and let's get down to business. Okay, so here's an overview of my options portfolio. The ones that are highlighted in gray are trades that I am no longer in. Some of them I lost, some I won, but the idea is to win more when you win than you lose when you lose. I hope that makes sense. To the left, you will see a ticker symbol for a stock that I have or had an option on recently. For those of you who do not know what a ticker symbol is, it's just like a code name for a particular company on the stock market. For example, Nike's ticker symbol is NKE. Some ticker symbols are quite obvious for what company it represents. However, some are not. In the column next to the ticker symbols, you can see the name of the company that the ticker symbol represents. Next is the stock price, and after that is the corresponding option contract that I am currently trading or have traded recently. It might be difficult to understand what this means, but I can break it down real quick. Each option contract starts with the ticker symbol, then the 100 shares the contract represents. Next is the date of expiration of the contract. Here, the day comes before the month, and then the year is after. All this is followed by the strike price and whether I have a call or a put option contract. Right now, all I have are call options, but eventually you'll see some put options in my portfolio as well. Just to give an example, the option that I had on Nike, ticker symbol NKE, was a contract for the right to buy 100 shares of Nike at a $115 strike price that expires March 15th, 2024. For more information, you can watch my video on what is an option and look out for videos that I will post in the future. All right, I don't want to make this video too long, so let's actually talk about the trade I just made. The name of the company is Fortinet, not Fortnite, Fortinet. Ticker symbol is FTNT. It's one of the world's leading cybersecurity company. You thought it was just Norton and McAfee, huh? Nah, this is its own $50 billion company, and I'm going to show you why I bought this option. Starting at the weekly time frame, you can see Fortinet has had a great run for the last 4 years as the uptrend accelerated. Since the pandemic began, the stock price has jumped over 460%. Last year, in about a month and a half, the stock price crashed about 45%. However, the company is still growing revenue and profit. Therefore, that crash actually presented a buying opportunity that I should not have ignored. But hey, hindsight is 2020, right? Fortunately, there's still an opportunity to make some money here. After a 68% run up since November, it tried to crash again. It tested an old trend line and bounced right off of it with that long lower wick on that candle. Note to self: make a video about how candlesticks work. This made me interested in seeing if I can find an opportunity. As I switch to the daily time frame, I can see a clearer picture. When Fortinet tried to crash, it fell to a strong support zone, intersecting an old trend line, a couple of Fibonacci retracements, and the 50-day and 200-day moving average that just crossed each other. Now, all of that makes it a hard level to get through. Now, it could have fell through, but instead it bounced right off that level and started to recover. To me, this presents a huge buying opportunity, especially since the 52-week high is roughly $14 away. Now, if the stock price increases $14, imagine what the option price will increase to, especially since my delta is already at 0.5. Now I gotta make a video to show what a delta is. Man, I got a lot of work to do. This is gonna be a long journey. But for now, just trust me, any delta better than 0.4 is good. So on the technical analysis side of the game, I think this is a good opportunity. Now let's look at the fundamental analysis side of the game. In other words, let's see how good the business is doing. I have compiled the numbers that the company has produced on an Excel spreadsheet covering the last 6 years, but we will focus on the last 5. As you can see, the cash position has increased consistently with just a slight hiccup in 2023. However, it's still enough cash to cover the debt that the company is carrying and still have some cash left over. Its total liabilities is actually more than its total assets, meaning that Fortinet has a negative equity position. For that reason, I don't know if I would have this company in my long-term investment portfolio, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't trade it. Here's why. Revenue has grown 59.18% year over year, and at a 26.25-year CAGR. Now for the people in the back, CAGR, C-A-G-R, stands for Compounded Annual Growth Rate. What's interesting is the 5-year CAGR of net income is actually higher than it is in revenue. This suggests that Fortinet is getting better at turning its revenue into profit. As far as cash flows, operational cash flow is growing at a 19% CAGR. Another interesting thing is CapEx, or capital expenditures, actually has been decreasing over the last 3 years. This means more of an increase in free cash flow, which is exactly what we want to see. Net income growth is good, but we want to see a company producing that cash. Anyway, free cash flow is growing quite nicely at a 19.32% 5-year CAGR. If I look at the margins, this is just crazy. You see growth in gross margin, and operating margin went from being negative to significantly positive. You also see great net margin, which is just another way to say profit margin. Earlier, you saw that I keep track of the number of employees and that the number has been increasing significantly as well, but so has revenue. For that reason, I keep track of how much revenue per employee the company generates. And over the last 6 years, that number has went from $231,103 per employee in 2019 to $387,862 in 2023. So as far as growth and the margins that I see, I think this is a really good company to be involved with. As I said before, I wouldn't put this in my investment portfolio, but I have no problem trading it. Therefore, in my options portfolio, I bought 2 contracts of Fortinet set to expire January 17th, 2025 at a strike price of $75. So I gave this trade an entire year almost to make me some money. The road could be smooth, but it's usually bumpy. In fact, the stock could crash and I reach my negative 50% threshold. But we're in this long term and I like my chances. Stay tuned as I make more videos to show you my progress throughout this trade and many more.